Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Nidhi Hegde, and here we are with a conversation that feels extremely relevant in today's fast paced, high pressure world. Our episode today is titled Debugging the Mind, How Yoga Helps Fix Stress, Anxiety, and Burnout. Stress, anxiety, and burnout has almost become a part of everyday language, especially for students and professionals. But what if mind, much like a system, can be understood, debugged, and optimized? To explore this idea, we are joined by Madhvi Patil, a classical Hatha Yoga teacher with over 1750 plus hours of training, and Sadhguru Kulam, and now founder of Yogam. Along with being a yoga teacher, she is a Vastu consultant and counselor. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, team.
Let us begin by understanding your personal journey. Before we begin, could you tell us about yourself and your journey into yoga and inner well being?
My journey into yoga always has been like from childhood. I was kind of inclined, but journey into becoming a teacher was not with the idea of becoming a teacher. It was more for my inner growth that I went, and becoming a teacher I felt was a byproduct of it. Uh, in regards to inner well-being, yoga opened up many platforms for me, in the sense people came to me not just for their backache or flexibility issues or other chronic things, but also more so for clarity, this life that we are surrounded with. So that introduced me to different aspects of counseling and healing, also taking care of the space that we are in. That is where the Vastu consultancy also happens. So these are all integrated things overlapping each other. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It really sets the foundation for today's conversation. As you now work closely with people from different walks of life, you see recurring challenges. You work with students and professionals
Yeah.
from many fields. What are the most common problems people come to you with today?
You tell me, what is it that you are going through? Honestly, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm not
Mm,
feeling fit because
like lots of stress and
stress.
academic pressure, feeling left out. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So these are the most common things that I think all of you can relate to: stress, anxiety, peer pressure, social pressure, and that comes again, becomes chronic and turns into something like a very common, I think, backaches and shoulders and
Yeah.
restlessness and hormonal imbalance, mostly with women. So maybe you can, probably you would be hearing and discussing with your friend circle, how this is impacting on many levels. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is the most common thing. And sleepless nights,
Yes.
overload, overstimulated mind, sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can relate totally. That really highlights how widespread and silent these issues have become. Why do you think stress, anxiety, and burnout have become so common today, especially among young students and professionals?
So I feel how much ever we have advanced, with the speed around us, we are doing everything at a very good speed. Instant gratification. We order, blink it, 5 minutes, everything comes over. Uh, but we have taken care of our outside needs, and it's brilliant. What we are missing out is our inner stability. That is, we have not upgraded it along with the outside world.
Yeah.
That's where the gap is, and that's where this comes into picture.
Is
Yeah.
the pressure external or self-created? I mean,
Most of the times it's self-created. Externally, so there are people you might have seen in your friend circle, okay, that same group of people, same academics, same teachers teaching, but some people are chilled out
yeah.
and some people are like, no matter what, I have to study. They study till the end moment, and you can see the difference how. So yoga is actually, yoga or living a aligned life is not actually about escaping the stress. It is about being able to handle the stress properly.
Yeah.
So when we're not able to handle the stress, that's where it becomes self created. So then you are also thinking, okay, I see so and so on social media, the reel went viral, now I also want. So this is self created, no one is pressurizing you to
Yeah.
do that. So Sadhguru says very beautifully here, very clearly he points out that stress, yoga is not escaping the stress. It is about our inability to handle the stress is what makes it stressful.
Yeah.
Work as such is not stressful if we can handle it efficiently. It's beautiful.
That explanation really helps us understand the root causes. Interestingly, stress is often seen as a badge of hard work today. In today's work and academic culture, being busy and stressed is almost seen as normal. Is this actually healthy or sustainable?
Yeah, you answer me that. Is it that, do you feel when you're under stress, are you able to sustain maybe one day,
No,
two
during
day?
exams, yeah, under stress only we can study properly, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, no stress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not something sustainable. It's like, driving your car with the handbrake on. So, it will drive. It will probably take you also to the, location. But you are damaging the engine big time. So, staying with stress is definitely, it's not a joyful ride. Very soon there will be burnouts. You will feel the anxiety and it will catch up with you.
Can productivity exist without stress?
Can productivity exist without stress? So, I was thinking we'll start the session with little breathing practice. We didn't get time because we're running late. But if you have noticed, when you have slept well, are you able to receive things in the session next day a little more better?
Yeah,
Well slept, fresh morning, calm mind.
yeah,
So definitely productivity increases with calm mind, and with stress, again, it's like you're functioning. I'm giving examples related to your work, your engineering. So it's like, uh, you're making your mobile work on 20% battery. It doesn't charge beyond 20%. So it's like, again, it will work, but it won't be, a beautiful journey. So it's like 20% you keep charging, but it's stressful always. At the back system, all so many windows are open, so it slows down your system time and again. So definitely, no, yeah.
yeah. That really makes us question what we call normal today. When stress becomes chronic, people often say, I'm burnt out. When people say I'm burnt out, what does that really mean at the level of the mind and body?
I guess we can look at burnout as your nervous system being not able to cope up with the stress is when we say burnout. It's like, it doesn't recover quickly. You sleep doesn't refresh you, and you don't feel enthusiastic. You get irritable over small things. So most of us feel burnout all the time. It's just that some initial signals are very, very subtle, and so we might miss out on that. But burnout, most of us in today's overstimulated environment go through that.
Yeah. Does it affect emotions, motivation, or physical health at first?
Not at first, but definitely with time. Because burnout, again, like I said, it's very subtle signs that you wake up and still you feel groggy. You
Yeah.
wake up, you're not refreshed. Very subtle signs that your system is overloaded. So later, as you go through the day, you are irritable. You snap at your friends for no reason. You feel, "Arey, bhook lagi hai, I don't know what to do." These are just signs, and then slowly by the evening, you vent it out, or you feel emotionally,
Yeah.
yeah, you feel emotionally heavy. So that's how it starts with subtle things, and then yes, it affects emotionally.
Yeah. That clarity is extremely important for early awareness. This brings us to a very interestingly analogy you use. We loved your topic title, Debugging the Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Can the mind be really compared to a system that sometimes needs debugging?
So when we say mind, mind runs on things like patterns, fears. If you have noticed, there's always someone or something that triggers something in you, and you go to the unending loop, right?
Yeah.
Have you noticed it?
Yeah.
Some teacher will annoy you, one teacher for no reason, even if they come and just start teaching you normally, but still you're irritable.
Yeah.
So this is a pattern of your mind, and so when mind goes through patterns and systems where these we go into these kind of loops, then that's where the debugging concept comes in, that these are the patterns we need to remove at the source. So again, yoga is not about changing the patterns overnight. It is about becoming so stable in whichever environment you are that the patterns don't affect you as much.
Yeah.
That's where how we debug the system slowly. It's not like a virus that you put in and overnight, okay, you're done. But this is a very beautiful, slow unfolding. And if you actually go through that process, you will see so many layers within yourself. So debugging a human mind in a system is also a revelation of what you truly are, because it's a slow process. So definitely that can be achieved. And this whole methodology of why in the first place we are having this conversation is because yoga somewhere has touched all of us, or at least we have heard. Why is it even being there? Why is it there since ancient times? How has it sustained so far?
Yeah.
Definitely it has some power, right?
That analogy makes mental health much easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some of these common mental bugs. What are some common mental bugs you see today? Stress patterns, anxiety loops, overthinking, negative thinking.
Yeah, you have named it exactly in this order. Stress pattern, but we need to understand where is the stress coming from. So stress, like we asked, started with this conversation. Stress is so much of it is self-created. Uh, no one is pressurizing us. Even if you score 70% or you score 95%, no one is pressure. Yeah, parents have expectations, and because parents and social world around us have expectations, it's like we want to excel, we want to show the world. And now in today's world of social media, Instagram and everything, it has become all the more relevant that you need to prove yourself,
Yeah.
become famous or become something. So that's where I feel anxiety, stress, uh, the loop. Have you all noticed that you go into a loop thinking, that we start, there's something that the one thought that bothers us, and then whole day we can't get it out
Yeah.
of our system. So one thought can spoil your entire day. It has that capacity. So if you list down, it's the restless mind, overthinking, wanting to achieve more, not, there's always something, being over ambitious. There's nothing wrong about it, provided you can manage it in a stable way. There's nothing wrong being ambitious, there's nothing wrong to aim for something wonderful, but as long as you can manage the stress, that's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
That really resonates with what many people experience daily. These mental patterns don't stay limited to the mind. How do these mental patterns slowly turn into physical problems like insomnia, back pain, or lifestyle disease?
Yeah. uh, so we say, or even probably you guys have noticed, when you study for a long time, once you finish studying, the first thing you do is this.
Yeah.
You do this. This is where the weight of all your thoughts, your emotions. We have the saying, no, कंधे पे बोझ मत उठाओ. Even if it is not a literal boj, it is the weight of emotions, of the stress that you're carrying is here.
Yeah.
When you do not attend to it, what happens with time? This becomes chronic. You start having neck problem, back problem, these issues. That's where emotions or confusion or stress turns into something chronic. So that answers, like, back issues. Why most of people today, as engineers, you probably have, even as students rather, you study for long hours, you get up and your back hurts.
Yeah. Every
So
time.
yeah, back hurts. So what is it that's happening? But if you don't care, take care. Now you're young, it's okay. But as you age and you go into different, go into further aspects of your life. If you're sitting for 8 hours a day, office work is like that. Where you're sitting, the whole body weight is right here at the back, and then it becomes chronic. Then people have back issues. Major complaint today is back issues, spondylitis. We can't bend down. Doctors advised us not to bend down. We can't sit down now. So what starts as something simple becomes chronic. Then when you have back issues, you can't sleep at night. This is just an example. But with women specifically, one day of stress can affect their hormonal cycle, which in turn can affect their periods.
Yeah.
So it just starts with one thought which could be toxic for your system. And then one thought gathers that momentum, slow snowball effect. It gathers. Now everything is irritable. Now this is not, you have issues with your parents, with friends, with this, that, roll, and then it becomes a hormonal issue. Now you have PCOD, PCOS. So that is how something as simple can become chronic if you don't attend to it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. That clearly shows how deeply the mind and body are connected. This is where yoga enters as a powerful tool. How does yoga actually help in fixing these mental bugs? What changes when someone starts practicing regularly?
Regularly is the word here.
Yeah.
You may be, what Sadhguru calls as weekend yogis, go on a weekend or a yoga day, to go out and happy yoga day and post a picture, selfie with your mat and, your yoga mat, and you're like, okay, yoga day. That definitely doesn't resolve. It's the word regularly
Regular.
is the key word here. And so something as simple as, let's start with breathing, the pranayam.
Hmm.
So prana means the life energy and yama means to control. Okay. So when we say pranayam, what we are trying to do is control the breathing. Uh, Controlled breathing or pranayama helps in regulating your parasympathetic nervous system. So this is responsible for your cortisol. If you heard the word nowadays, cortisol is very much, and if not, you all guys can go and check later,
Yeah.
Google it. Cortisol is where the imbalance of cortisol is where everything goes for a toss. No proper sleep, no proper food, no proper body movement results into cortisol imbalance. So that is where this helps in regulating your parasympathetic nervous system, cortisol regulation, better sleep, and then it starts. But again, you know. Flexibility, so many people say yoga,
Yeah.
I'm not flexible, can I join? Of course, flexibility has nothing to do with yoga. Becoming flexible is one of the byproducts maybe, and that's not important as long as how you are doing it. Again, there's a way Sadhguru also puts it is, it's not whether you go into the perfect asana, it is how you go into the asana with that commitment, with that devotion. So it takes care of so many levels. You're curing, you're healing yourself. The moment the parasympathetic nervous system is activated, your body starts healing itself. That's
Yeah.
where yoga comes into picture.
So, does yoga act differently for different people?
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
is again, how you take it. um, Give the same piece of machine, you guys probably make it, and you give it to different people will have different feedback about it depending on how they want to use it. So
Hmm.
yoga again can be used by some people just to cure their backache, or for some people it can help them go deeper in their spiritual journey or inner journey or the quest. For some people it could add more flexibility, for some people so much stability, and you get so much clarity in life. But it all depends on so many factors, your age, what is your lifestyle. People
Yeah.
who have been, how many of you in your friend circle are in the habit of sitting down?
Yeah, I
Are you comfortable sitting
Yeah,
down? You have
I'm
seen people who are absolutely not comfortable, even your age, who are not comfortable.
some few. I don't
Yeah.
think so. I have
Because
seen
probably,
someone right
because
now.
you because what happens is, we in our day to day life, probably you're not exposed to being in that environment where you have to sit down, but because you're sitting on the chairs and the benches all the time. uh, but when you actually get into that habit, I noticed students who come to me, they have trouble just with the basic sitting down these days. So it's also your lifestyle that really
Yeah.
matters a lot.
That explains why yoga works beyond just relaxation. Many people still misunderstand what yoga really does. Is yoga mainly about flexibility and fitness, or does it work more deeply on the nervous system and the body?
Yeah, this is, I think we answered it in a way
Yeah,
previously. Flexibility is a byproduct of that, but becoming flexible in the body also kind of have results into becoming flexible in life. Yoga somehow have that impact on you because it is not only working on your body, it is basically alignment, body, mind, and energy.
yeah,
So when you are in yoga, when you're doing yoga, it's basically flexible not only with your body, your mind starts becoming more flexible. You start adapting to outside situations better. You, if the situation, it's not that situation is going to ease, it's not that everything is going to become bed of roses for you, it's just that you will be able to handle it with grace, with a little
yeah.
more clarity. So it affects on many levels, definitely nervous system, neurological system. There is a practice called as surya kriya. uh, it involves, it's a beautiful, very very powerful practice, one of the first practices I started my isha yoga journey with. And very very profound in terms of balancing your hormones. It has physical and mental benefits. It's lovely practice. Then there is something called as angamardana, which is like a yogic gym. So back in the day, people didn't have a gym. They kind of used their own body and weight and the space they had to get the gym kind of workout effect. So it brings a lot of resilience to your system. It strengthens the system. Again, it doesn't help you eradicate the stress, but strengthens you to handle and not let stress dominate you. So there are
Yeah,
beautiful practices designed for designed at different aspects
yeah.
of a human being. Yeah.
Why breathe is so important in yoga?
What if we stop breathing right now? Not only in yoga, I would say breath is the very very source of why we are here, right? We
Yeah,
are alive. If someone says stop, Nidhi, stop breathing right now, hold your breath, probably a minute,
yeah,
maybe max
yes,
2 minutes. Some people can hold it for little few more minutes, but can you actually live without breath? No.
no,
But the idea of yoga is to be able to breathe consciously. That's the difference between how we are breathing day to day. How many of us are really really alert and aware uh, throughout the day? The day goes by, we are not even aware that we are breathing. It's happening at the
yeah,
background, right? Not even aware. The moment you take your awareness to your breath, what happens? Have you noticed? Take your awareness to your breath right now. Just breathe. What happens? You, it slows down. Now you're breathing deeply, right?
yeah,
So the moment you take your awareness to your breath, you just become conscious of it. And that's what yoga does.
yeah.
Helps us become conscious of your breath so that you breathe in a proper, regulated, deeper way.
Okay, that clears a very common misconception. Uh, let's look at this from a scientific perspective. From a scientific point of view, what happens in the brain and nervous system when we practice yoga and breathing techniques?
So it's kind of overlaps with the previous couple of questions. The connection between brain and what did you say? Brain and
Yeah,
is
brain
it
and nervous system.
brain and nervous system? So there are many practices that we do which activates your lower part of the spine and activates your brain immediately as we start doing it. There are many
Yeah,
practices that we have. So the moment you start doing yoga, you'll notice within 10 to 15 minutes, your brain, see, you can't stop the noise, what's going on, but you can fade it out.
yeah,
The brain is non-stop giving you, telling you you're doing so many things. There's so much of external noise that's happening. When you sit on your mat and you're doing it again regularly, what happens is your brain kind of fades out. The mind stops chattering,
yeah,
and that's where you're going into asanas. It's not that you will stop thinking altogether, but then it is there existing at the back. It doesn't bother you right now. You are here in this moment, and that's
yeah,
how it connects. So your brain kind of rests, it relaxes. Are you have you done yoga before?
Yeah, yeah, I do that pranayama and
Regularly.
no.
Okay, so when you do it regularly, you will start noticing ki I'm looking forward to it now. The simple reason, not because someone is telling you, simple reason because I feel really clear and calm, composed, collected after doing it.
Yeah,
So putting your body into asanas or pranayama or sitting there right on your mat brings starts initiating those changes, and that's how your mind body alignment starts begins to happen.
yeah. It's fascinating how science validates these practices. This has direct relevance for students and engineers. Can yoga really improve focus, memory, and productivity, especially for engineers and students working under high mental pressure?
Yeah, so because this is the need of the hour, you're working in high pressure jobs where deadlines are there,
Yeah,
and you don't have so much time with yourself. It becomes all the more important. So okay, so this is one very interesting thing. Okay, people say I don't have time for yoga. Okay, I'll tell you, give yourself 1 month, start practicing any form of yoga, and then see how your day goes. What would generally take you 5 to 6 hours to study, to understand, or to work, you'll be able to do it in a matter of 3 to 4 hours.
yeah,
Just because your mind is a little more organized now.
yeah,
So your energies are working in a perfect sync. So you may say, I don't have time for yoga, but I get feedback from students, participants all the time. That's it. I didn't have time, but since the time I've started doing yoga, I have much more time in my day now. And this has been like my personal experience also, that because you're so clear, you know what needs to be done, you do it optimum, focus, and you get it done. So what took 6 hours is now taking 4 hours.
yeah,
So that is where, for engineers, for anyone who's working, for students, just give yourself that time for your inner well-being, and you will notice on the outside you'll be able to perform well.
yeah. That's extremely relevant for our student listeners.
Yeah,
Engineering students, in particular, face unique pressures.
right.
Engineering students often face exams, placements, coding nights, and performance pressure. What stress patterns do you commonly see in them?
Stress pattern, sleepless nights,
Yeah,
overstudying, not overstudying, I would say, I don't know if this study or not, but studying at nights, late
yeah,
nights, then not being able to sleep, and then waking up late, waking up with a groggy, mind, and foggy day ahead. So these are very, very common. Not being able to focus because our life is full of distractions around us, right? We are distracted every given moment. We pull our mobiles out and we are scrolling. So these are the typical things. Even parents, teenager parents, they come to me with, and then there is unlimited distractions we choose ourselves.
yeah,
So common things, anxiety, stress, again we'll keep coming back to those are the keywords, but you agree these are
yeah,
the
I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Okay. How does fear of failure show up?
How does fear of failure show up? So why fear of failure happens, why we need to understand two words here, fear and failure.
Yeah.
What is fear?
When we doubt ourselves, so we get fear that may, might I may feel like, yeah,
Yeah, so fear of failure, it's always the fear is mostly of the failure, that failure to impress people around you,
yeah,
failure to keep up with their expectations, and return keep up with your expectations. So once you have clarity how to go along in life, and that clarity is where the other part, like I say, you may work on your mind, body, but working on your mind is equally important. Yoga helps big time working on your mind and body, but going deeper, understanding your patterns. Why is there a fear of something? Why is there even a need to prove yourself to someone?
yeah,
That is the biggest fear. You want to prove yourself constantly to the world around you, to your friends, to your peer group, to your teachers, to your parents. and that's where this just wanting to impress people all the time, impress or just
Yeah,
prove validation is what we are seeking all the
yeah,
time. Do you feel that validation when it comes to dressing, validation when it comes to showing up
yeah,
your score? So that is the fear. And once you start understanding what are you running behind all the time, what are you chasing, really chasing, are you chasing the validation or thumbs up from someone all the time, then you're not going to be happy, because there would be people, there would be someone who would be not be happy with you all the time. So the moment you realize that and you're at peace, at ease with what you can do your best, that fear just dissolves naturally.
yeah. That perfectly describes what many students go through. Recognizing stress early is crucial. How can young people recognize early warning signs of burnout before it becomes serious?
I would guess wanting to have coffee all the time, going for caffeine
Yeah,
stimulation is a why do you need caffeine stimulation is at night you want to stay up. So if you want to really recognize the sign of burnout, these are the actions you would do to cover up the burnout. But if you want to recognize the sign of burnout, I would definitely say not having a refreshing sleep. When you wake up you feel groggy is the first sign of burnout. Second, being irritable, snappy with
yeah.
little things, with hunger. Third, not feeling enthusiasm to do things. You feel burnout. Burnout is your nervous system not being able to recover. So these three, I would definitely ask students to watch out. Probably all of us fall into that trap some other time. So yes,
Are mood changes early indicators?
yeah, definitely. I think men would agree more when they look at women that
Yeah.
their mood, their moods are definitely big time indicators of what's happening in the system. But how does a mood fluctuation happen? Women closely are very connected to the moon cycle. So
Yeah.
moon changes every day. 28 days, 28 phases of moon. That's how a woman is. That's why women is connected to the moon cycle. Our periods are connected with the moon cycle. But does that mean that we have to go through the mood fluctuations and the anxiety that it comes with? No. We naturally, it's a natural process to go with the phases of moon to feel different. Some days you may feel a little withdrawn, some days you may feel a little joyful, some days you just don't want to talk to any
Mm,
person. And it's okay to do that as long as you are aligned with even the moon cycle. And this is where again yoga or aligned practices come
yeah.
is highlighted. That's where it starts because the day you're not feeling aligned between your mind, body and energies, that day the mood changes. The mood is constantly shifting, how you're feeling in the morning, afternoon, evening. So at least moon is changing every day, we are changing so many times in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely affects mood. Yeah.
That awareness alone can be life changing. Your work also involves deeper emotional clarity. You also offer life guided sessions and counseling.
Right.
How does emotional clarity and life direction help in reducing stress and burnout?
So I have beautiful, families who come to me, and so they started with yoga as the preliminary thing that they wanted to learn. Yoga is a wonderful thing for your mind and your body alignment. But when you go a little deeper, we have too many confusions in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you go shopping now, even more. So confusion is at every stage. Sometimes we are seeking clarity on deeper levels,
Yeah.
and that's where the deeper mind aspects come into picture. That's where the life guided sessions and counseling comes into picture, so helping them go deeper into that. When we are doing that, have you noticed when you go to a certain space, a place, you feel relaxed and
Yeah.
calm, and then when you go to some other random place, you feel a little anxious, you feel you want to leave from there
Yeah.
immediately. So that has a lot to do with how the energy in the space is, and that's like what we call as vastu, energetically balancing the elements in that space. And that's how I started integrating the yoga and the vastu aligning inside and aligning outside space as well.
Yeah, that completes the picture of holistic well being. Before we close, let's leave our listeners with something simple and powerful. Finally, for someone listening right now who feels stressed or anxious, what is one simple practice or message you would like to give them?
I would say start small. Don't say that from tomorrow onwards I want to just every single day of my life I'm going to do yoga. I would say one day at a time.
Yeah,
You know, one breath at a time. Just become more aware of your breath. There are beautiful practices. Even there is a free app, Sadhguru app. On that, if you can download the Sadhguru app, there is a practice called as Nadi Shuddhi,
yeah,
which is again
uh,
cleansing your nadis. 4 minutes a day. That's all it takes. Start with something simple, and then go deeper. Into many yogic practices. They are like we said, Surya Kriya is there, Angamardana is there. They are powerful practices. Then go deeper. I would definitely highly suggest Surya Kriya or Angamardana for your age group. Wonderful practice. You are in that physical fitness age where your body can really, it's in that stage where you will receive it well, and there are many years to go. So
yeah,
once your foundation is stable, it becomes a little more easier. One message. What message? Okay. So I feel we all, because I think everyone nowadays is striving for success. So I feel success without taking care of your inner well-being is like survival just with better clothes.
yeah,
Understood?
yeah,
It's like you're succeeding, but you're still in the survival mode with little better clothes, but you're still surviving. Unless you take care of your inner well-being, everything on the outside may look good till everything falls apart. So it's never too late.
yeah. Thank you so much for this deeply insightful conversation. Today's discussion truly reminds us that the mind, like any system, needs care, awareness, and the right tools to function well. To our listeners, we hope this episode helps you pause, reflect, and begin your own process of debugging the mind. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.
Yeah, keep breathing.